Hi guys, I'm MonteCristo from GG Chronicle, and with me, of course, is Chaox, who has just freely admitted that he hates my ring. How do you describe your hate for my ring?
Just like uncontrollable rage.
That's pretty impressive. How are you actually preventing yourself from hitting me right now?
Just like discipline that I gained from League of Legends.
That's very impressive. I'm really amazed that you have that kind of training and discipline. All right, so you've been watching the games all day. So far, what's currently going on is the Azubu Frost versus SK Gaming match. So we're still in Group A. You guys currently don't know who you're going to be facing in the actual quarterfinal stage that's coming up. From what you've seen today, who would you like to face coming out of this group stage, and who would you be more reluctant to face at this point?
CLGNA, but they're not going to make it out. So we're pretty confident against every single team. So, yeah.
So IG is known for some very strange strats, and I think at this point they're probably pretty likely to make it out of the group stage. You guys haven't played against IG before, to my knowledge. Is that correct? How do you feel about them from watching footage of their games?
They're extremely solid. Their level 1 in game 1 against Azubu Frost was really, really interesting. So I think they have a lot to bring to the table, but like obviously we're confident against them. Like we played against them before season 1, like when they're like on a completely different roster. So I mean, as long as we play our game, they should be pretty easy to beat. I think any team is pretty easy to beat if we are playing solid, but we also need to adapt to exactly what they're going to like bring to the table, because it can be anything.
I mean, from my perspective, I think you guys are very well prepared to beat IG, just because your team fighting is so strong, and IG kind of falls apart in the late game. Their laning phase is very dominant, but against a team that has a really good 5v5 presence, like we saw Frost coming back in that match. So I would think that you guys would be a lot better than, say, CLG Prime, who tends to be a little shakier in team fights than you guys. Do you think that's true, and do you have anything to add to your kind of team fight strategy and late game builds?
Yeah, I think like we're very comfortable throughout the entire game. Them being weak in team fights later on, I don't think that's true per se, because they were playing a pretty early game centric like composition, and they were still sort of winning fights late game against Baron. Like we saw their like Frost had Baron, and they had a late game comp with like Jax and like Vlad late game, right? And they rushed in to try and kill him to hip, and there's 5 people with Baron, and like they came out like completely ace Frost. So I don't think their team fight is weak at all, even later on. But I do think that, yeah, our team fight is also incredibly strong. And you're right in saying that CLG's team fight is not as strong as other teams, because they rarely play standard, even in training. Because CLG was like, yeah, they're like the Cheesecake Factory. And I'm actually looking forward to the cheese. So, like, again, really confident to beat them.
So you guys are just studying up today, looking at the film. Can you describe your training practice and what you guys have done to prepare yourself for tomorrow? What have the last few weeks looked like for you guys?
When we were back in New York, it was just we wake up at about 11, and then we eat breakfast, chill around, then we start scrimming against Europeans at about 1 p.m. Eastern, which is their nighttime, so they just start scrimming. We scrim for about 4 or 5 hours. We eat lunch, dinner, and then we scrim against NAs at night. So we get to see like the entire spectrum of metas, or at least the European and NA metas, which really helps shape up our understanding of the game and what we think is strong. Like by seeing both metas, we're like, well, this works in this scenario, but this works in this scenario, but what is like overall just works. So we found what works for us, and we're excited to show it. And we think we're going to make a huge impact going in.
Oh, that's really exciting to hear. So have you guys been, when you say you found what works for you, does that mean that you guys have been focusing on team compositions, or have you just been training up on your fundamentals, trying to streamline your calls? What has been the main focus for you guys coming in?
We focus on everything. Like we've improved as a team as a whole. Team composition, strategy, communication, teamwork, like everything has just like, everything is fluid at this point. But I think this is the first time going into a tournament that we actually have team compositions, like legitimate team compositions that we think will just beat anything. So, yeah, again, we're excited to show it.
Have you guys been working on new champions as well?
Yeah, of course.
That's awesome. One of my favorite TSM memories was being at Providence and seeing Oddwin bust out the jungle Maokai before that was really even a thing, and you guys taking the games from Epic Gamer. And I've been waiting for you guys to come out with some more surprising picks, because that's what I love about your tournament play. So I'm really hoping you do well. Now, you guys tomorrow have an option. If you win your quarterfinal match, it's likely that you'll face what I would consider, and nobody's weak at this tournament, but your World Elite and Type A Assassins might be considered slightly weaker coming in, but World Elite just made some roster changes, and I'm sure Type A Assassins have been practicing heavily. Would you feel more confident if they were in your bracket as opposed to, say, Moscow 5?
Not really. We're going to the finals and we're probably going to win, so any team, we're going to have to face the best teams eventually, so it doesn't really matter when we face them.
You looking for some revenge on Moscow 5?
Yeah, you can say that.
All right, guys. This has been Chaox. Thanks a lot for coming out and interviewing me. It's been a pleasure. And good luck tomorrow, man. Get on MonteCristo with GG Chronicle. You can check out more videos on our YouTube channel throughout the weekend. We'll see you later.